this is Jenny from Just Being Me, and you're listening to the Learning to Love Yourself podcast, the show that inspires you to put yourself first.
Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness. Learning to love yourself on the path to happiness.
The stories we tell ourselves, and how those inner storytellings shape our lives. Do you ever feel like you're living on autopilot, repeating patterns of self-doubt, anxiety, or even frustration? Maybe it feels like the same challenges just keep cropping up, no matter how hard you try to move forward. You know that feeling when we hold our heads up high and shout, "Anything else?" These patterns often stem from the stories that we tell ourselves. Stories born from past experiences and sometimes the traumas that we carry with us still. The stories we create from our past have a powerful hold over us, shaping how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, and the decisions that we make. Until we consciously rewrite those stories, they will continue to live with us, influencing our lives in ways that we just might not even recognize. So let's have an exploration of the stories that we tell ourselves and how they're formed, how they impact us, and most importantly, how we can stop replaying old stories and start telling a new one that empowers us. So as humans, we're wired to make some sort of sense of the world through stories. From a young age, we start interpreting the events and assigning meaning to them. These interpretations are shaped by the environments that we grow up in, the people around us, and the experiences that we have. So, for example, if a child grows up in a household where their efforts are constantly criticized, they might create a story that says, "I'm never good enough." Similarly, someone who experiences neglect may tell themselves, "I don't deserve love or attention." These stories aren't facts. They're perceptions based on our past experiences. Yet they really do feel real because they become ingrained in our subconscious minds, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. When we've had trauma, whether it's big or small, it has a way of embedding itself deeply within us. When we experience something painful, our minds try to protect us by creating stories to make sense of what happened. For example, if you were betrayed by someone you trusted, your story might become, "People can't be trusted." If you were made to feel invisible as a child, your story might be, "I'm not important." These stories serve as survival mechanisms in the moment, helping us to cope with difficult situations. But the problem arises when we carry these narratives into the present, allowing them to dictate our self-worth, relationship, and opportunities. The stories we tell ourselves don't just stay in our heads. They manifest in our actions, in our decisions, and in our emotions. They influence our self-perception. The way we talk to ourselves becomes the lens through which we see our identity. If your story is, "I'm not smart enough," you'll struggle to believe in your ability to achieve any of your goals. There's struggles in relationships because there's stories like, "I'm unlovable," or "people always leave." And that can lead to self-sabotaging behaviors in relationships, pushing others away or clinging too tightly out of fear of losing them. The lack of opportunity is due to your story. If you're thinking, "I'm not capable," that can hold you back from taking any risks or pursuing your dreams. It keeps you stuck in a comfort zone that's really anything but truly comfortable. Old stories often trigger emotional responses. If your narrative is, "I have to be perfect to be accepted," any mistake can lead to overwhelming shame or anxiety. Why on earth do we keep telling these old stories? Especially as if they cause us this much pain. Why would we do it? The answer lies in the brain. Our minds are wired to seek familiarity, even if it's not healthy. The stories we've told ourselves for years feel safe because they're known. And our brains resist change because change feels too risky. It's our brain's job to keep us safe, right? Another reason we hold on to old stories is that they become part of our identity. Letting go of them can feel like losing a piece of ourselves, even if that piece is holding us back. This is one of the biggest issues I face when coaching around old traumatic stories. Letting them go doesn't feel safe. So we work slowly and bit by bit. That way, your system doesn't go into shock. Here's a little bit of what we look at. We recognize the story. The first step is to change your inner dialogue, is become aware of it. Ask yourself, what are the stories I tell myself about who I am? Where did they come from? Are they true, or are they based on past experiences that no longer define me? Writing stuff down can be really powerful here. If you write down what your reoccurring thoughts and where they came from, it can open up a different world for you. Once you've identified a story, challenge whether it's true. If your story is, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this? The chances are you'll find that this belief is rooted in old experiences, not your current reality. So what is the truth now? Rewrite that story. Replace the disempowering stories with the ones that will uplift you. For example, old story is, I always mess things up. New story is, I'm learning and growing with every experience. Write down your new story and repeat it to yourself daily like an affirmation. Changing your narrative takes time and patience. Be kind to yourself. Remember, it's okay to slip back into old patterns. It's part of the journey. Just recognize it. Surround yourself with support, because the people around you can influence your self-talk. Spend time with those who uplift and encourage you, and seek guidance from someone like myself if you really need help uncovering and rewriting those deep-seated narratives. I used to live by the story that I wasn't good enough. This narrative controlled everything, from the jobs I pursued to the relationships I stayed in. It wasn't until I stopped to question that story that I realized it was built on outdated beliefs from my past. When I rewrote my story to say, I am capable and I am deserving, I am amazing, my entire life shifted. I started setting boundaries, pursuing my passions, and completely believing in my worth. So your new story awaits too. The stories we tell ourselves create who we are, but they don't have to define who we become. So by recognizing and rewriting old narratives, you can break free from the chains of your past and step into a future filled with possibility, confidence, and self-belief. So what story will you tell yourself today? Will it be one of doubt and limitation, or one of growth and empowerment? The choice is yours, and your new story is waiting to be written. Are you feeling stuck? Do you want to be able to create a better conversation with yourself, but just don't know where to start? I offer a free 20-minute session to see where you want to be and how to get you there. Just click on the link below. Remember, it's free. Book your space. It could change your life. Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon.